All right, this is video 5 to show you how to put your puzzle pieces together into what is called an assembly. And when you create an assembly, you need to have open all of the parts that you are going to want to assemble together. In this case, you should have 5 puzzle pieces. They should be named in your Y drive and in your IED and then your puzzle cube project subfolder. I have 3 puzzle pieces that I'm going to use to show you assembly today, but you'll be selecting all 5 of yours. This is kind of a cool, easy way to open your files. Once you're in your, I'll do this again, Windows Explorer is this little file folder. And once you open that and go into your Y drive, IED folder, Puzzle Cube project, and then you're gonna, if you just click on one of your part files .ipt, I can hold down the control key on the keyboard and then click on the other 2 pieces until they're highlighted in blue, and then you can let go of the control key, and then now I'm going to hold my left mouse button down and drag these over into Inventor. And if you do that, it's going to open all the pieces, all the files that you had selected. In this case, I have my red piece, blue piece, and purple piece. And so I'm going to go over to the picture of my cube really quick so you can see. It's kind of difficult to see, but this is the red, these 2 here, and this is actually purple. So the first thing you need to do is create or open a new assembly file. And to do that, you go to the big I and click on New. And this time instead, I'm hovering over New, and I can click on Assembly. We were creating parts before, and this is going to be our first assembly. Another way is if you click on New, it brings this menu up, and I want to look for, here's Part, and here's Assembly. And so these are the assembly documents, and I want standard.iam, and then I can click Create. And so this is our assembly file. Once it opens up, and the first thing we're going to do is save it onto your Y drive. So File, Save As. And I'm still in my Puzzle Cube project. You always want to double check that you're in the right spot. And this one, you want to also always start out with your name, first name, last initial, underscore, and we're going to call this Puzzle Assembly. Puzzle Assembly. And then hit enter or click save, and now we have our assembly file saved. So when you make an assembly, you're going to add your puzzle pieces. You can either add them one at a time or you can add them all together. But the first piece that you open in the assembly is going to be your base piece, meaning the one that's kind of on the bottom. So I'm going to go back over to that picture. I'm going to put the red piece as the bottom piece, which means I'm going to add it first. So I'm going to click place, and then I need to go back into my Y drive, back into the folder my puzzle pieces are in, and in the Puzzle Cube project, which I can probably, I'm just going to try this, try dragging these in. I'm going to first drag the red piece into the assembly. Ah, that worked great. So you can just drag it in again from your Windows Explorer, and after you add your red piece, which is your base piece, I can go ahead and add the other 2 pieces together because those are going to be now around that other piece. So once I add those and zoom out a little bit, I can move the blue and the purple piece away from the red piece. And the red piece is my grounded piece, meaning it's kind of at 0, 0 in the assembly. And now I'm going to set this up. I'm going to flip my blue piece over, and I want it to mate to my red piece. And I want it to go around. I'm going to left click just to select it, right click, and do free rotate. And then I'm going to flip it around so that it's looking kind of the direction that I want it to look. And so I can either spin it this way. If I grab these horizontal bars, I can spin it around this way. And I'm actually going to leave it about just like that. And then if I click off, it stops the free rotate. So I'm going to bring it over by this red piece. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I want the bottom or the inside. So actually I'm going to free rotate this a little bit more. I want to be looking at the inside of this blue piece because I want, hit escape to get out of free rotate, I want this face, the inside, to mate to this face on the red piece. And so that's called actually a mate. And if I click on the constrain tool, you're going to be doing mate flush flush for all these puzzle pieces. Mate flush flush. So this is the mate, this tool right here, and if you hover over it actually says mate. Mate makes two faces stick together, and this is the flush, which makes the faces line up so that they're in the same plane. So I'm going to make sure mate is selected, and then I'm going to make the first selection, which is what I want to mate first. So I'm going to select this top face, and you can see an arrow starts coming out. So that's my first selection. It automatically goes to selection 2. And for selection 2, I want to select that inside of the blue piece. And every single time it's very important you do apply, otherwise it undoes what you just did. So if you hit apply, now I've got the blue piece mated. I'm going to cancel this for a second so you can see what's happened. I can still move the blue piece in this direction, and I can also move it in this direction. And so the next thing I want to do is constrain by flushing up some faces. So the first face I want to flush, so I'm going to click the flush tool now, is this face I want to line up with this face. And always hit apply. And so now I've removed 2 degrees of freedom, and I'm going to actually spin my entire design over now because the other faces that I want to stick together, and I'm going to pull this blue piece off actually, is I want this face, I'm going to go back to a mate because I want to stick faces again. I'm going to hit escape. Do that again. Pull the blue piece off, constrain, I'm going to mate, and I'm going to mate this face now to this side. And now I've got most of it lined up, and I think that should do it. Let's see if it'll move anymore. Whoops, cancel that. So if I click home, now we can see that the blue piece is completely stuck to the red piece. I've mated and flushed in 3 different directions. So if you click on this plus, you can see all the mate, flush, and mate that I did with that blue piece. And you'll see the same mate, flush, and mate on the red piece because it was done to both pieces. Okay, let's do that again, but this time with the purple piece. And the purple piece is going to go on this side and also on this side. So I'm going to come back around and I'm going to swivel around using my cube, just rotate it a little bit. And I'm going to place, I'm actually going to free rotate this purple guy, free rotate, and he's going to go on top of the red piece also, but with this piece underneath the blue piece. So I'm going to do 2 mates, I think, as well on this one. I'm going to first mate the top of this face to the bottom of this blue piece so that they stick together. And to do that, actually I'm going to do this the same way as the last time. Hit escape. I'm going to move so I can see the underside right here. And I want that to mate to, let me drag my cube down again, to this part of the red piece. And I'm going to hit apply always. And now you can see that those faces are joined, but the purple piece is way off kilter. So I'm going to, oops, hit escape. I'm going to pull off the purple piece. And this time I'm going to mate again this part to the underside of that blue piece. Let's see. Didn't seem to like that, so let's see why. And, well, I'll try it a different way. I'm going to put the this face of the purple onto this face of the blue and hit apply. And then, unless I've made a mistake, this should line up if I now flush the purple with the blue. And there we go. Hit apply. Never forget to hit apply. And then if this has worked, I should not be able, once I hit cancel, I should not be able to move this purple piece away from the blue or the red. And so I would continue this with mates or flushes, whatever makes sense, until I eliminate all those degrees of freedom, the X, the Y, and the Z, with all the puzzle pieces put together. And that's how you complete an assembly. Don't forget to save.